Is this video going to be me just basically saying my entire TBR? Maybe. Hi, I'm Stacey and welcome to my Book Nook. And today we are going to be doing my TBR for December. So this TBR is going to be a little bit different. And I don't really want to play my game because I am quite busy in December and I would just like to do a bit more mood reading. But I thought we might pick a couple of books anyway, and then I'll just see if I get to them or not. I do have a giant stack of books right next to me, and they're all books that I would like to get to at some point soon. So I suppose let's get on with it. So for the first bit, I wanted to do a couple of pulls from my TBR jar. And we'll see if they connect to any books that I would quite like to read. So let's go for it. Let you have a look in there. So for literally got three. Maybe those can be the three. We'll see. If I really don't want to do it, I'm putting it back. I don't care. So the first one works perfectly. Magical. I think we can do that because half the books I've got on here are fantasy. The next one is set in a city or a town. Yep, I can do that too. And the last one is foiled or shiny, and I can also do that. So that works out very nicely. Thank you very much, TBR Jar. Also, look at my lovely Christmas tree. It's actually my first year in this house with my other half, and we got a Christmas tree for it. So I'm quite pleased. The first books that I would really like to read are all sequels. And oh man, yeah, sequels I'm super excited for. So let's go. The first one I have is Defend the Dawn by Brigid Kemmerer. And this is the second in the Defy the Night series. The first book is about, she's kind of a healer, and she's also kind of a rebel. So it's about a girl and a kingdom, and the kingdom is kind of hoarding these petals which can be used to cure this disease, illness that a lot of people have. It's kind of like a plague. She and this other guy are kind of going around and essentially being like healing Robin Hood, if that doesn't make any sense, but that's how I see it. They're like healer Robin Hoods, stealing from the rich, giving to the poor, or those who need it, can't afford it. That actually works very well. And this is the sequel, and I am excited. And I can't really tell you much about it because it'll give so much away, and you should read the first book. The next one we have is Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. My copy has the sprayed edges because it's a Waterstones exclusive, and it's got this beautiful cover. And this is the second book in the Legendborn series. And Legendborn was incredible. I loved it. And it's about Bree, and she goes to this university and discovers that there's this, it's not a cult, what shall I call it? Like the secret society of people who are very into Arthurian legend. Her mother's just died and she's trying to also investigate that. And she finds this Arthurian secret society and becomes a scion for them. And it's all very cool, and the magic is awesome, and I don't know how else to describe it apart from awesome. Because, like, look, she's got powers that she didn't know about. Sounds good for me. The next one. The next one I'm super excited about. And it would work so well for this, not that one, foiled or shiny prompt. Because it is Heart of the Sun Warrior, and it's got foiling there and like around the edges. Oh, it's so pretty. Heart of the Sun Warrior by Lynn Tan, and it is the second book to Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Oh my god, I can't speak. Second book in the Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Why do I keep saying goddess? It's goddess. And it's a duology. And this has pretty sprayed edges. It's beautiful. I'm pretty sure this one's signed to, oh, as it is. There we go. And this follows Xingyin. Xingyin? Yes, Xingyin. And she was not meant to be born. The first one follows her and her mother on the moon, because the moon goddess. And she's not supposed to use her magic. But she does, and then the Emperor discovers that she's there, and many adventures ensue. And I really enjoyed it. I liked the way it was told. It was very much like an old fairy tale story where there's lots of little adventures and then kind of a roundup at the end. But I just really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. Because the first one was quite well rounded. It was like a story on its own. You don't have to read this one. And I feel like this is going to be the same way. So I'm excited. Oh, I forgot to say. Okay, so also book set in a city or town. You could not see that at all. That one. Definitely works for Bloodmarked because it's set at a university. Can't remember which one it is, but it's a university set in I'm going to say city. So that works really well, and all of them are magical. All of them work. Also, this next one also magical. So this is A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy Lynn. And it's also got sprayed edges and is also signed because I'm a sucker. Just out. That's all I'm gonna leave it at that. I am a sucker. So this book is about tea magic. And it's based on, I think it's Chinese mythology. Yeah, Chinese mythology and tea making traditions and magic in the tea and poison in the tea. And I don't know, that just sounds up my alley. It's got magic, it's a fantasy, it's got mythology, and it's about tea. Perfect. The next ones I have are a couple that I would like to read from my Fairy Loot subscription because I'm getting a little bit behind with it. One of them's actually really old. Yeah. So these are the ones I'd like to read from that. We've got Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen. And it sounded really interesting because it's about someone who makes prophecies, only they're fake. They're fake prophecies. There's a prince out to get her. Is he out to get her, or will they fall in love? It's a YA. I'm guessing they're gonna fall in love. And I just think it sounds really cool. It just sounds really interesting. I'm hoping that it's going to be quite different. We'll see. We'll see. Because Fairy Loot ones, they can be hit or miss. Although most of them have been hits with me. So there's that. So the next one is one that I've had forever. It is The Bright and the Pale by Jessica Rubinkowski. And I don't know loads about this. There's a land trapped under a sheet of ice. There's a girl who's going on a journey to try to, I don't know, de-ice the land. There's a dragon, I think. Yeah. But it's beautiful. I love this cover. It's so pretty. I also really love the end papers. Not me showing you another signature. Yeah, end papers are pretty. It's very wintry, which is why it's on this list. And talking of wintry, I'm going to be doing a winter TBR, which is going to span probably December, January, and February, because those are the winter months. Those are the cold months in the UK. Okay, the next one is The Darkening by Sunya. And this one sounds super cool. It's like about a kingdom with a storm around it. It's about a revolutionary and a prince, and they have to go out into this storm. Can I find out what it's about? Thank you. Yep. So her mother was sentenced to death by storm, and then the soldiers catch up with her father, and she's arming herself with her father's book of dangerous experimental magic. Okay, now I really, really want to read this. It's beautiful, and I want to read it. Look at the edges. Look at them. It sounds really good. Okay, this has just gone right up there. The last one on my physical TBR books that I just want to read is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. And this is one that I've put on my TBR before and just didn't get to. And I was really sad about it. So I'm putting it on again, seeing if I get to it. And this one is about two people who met in I think it's the 80s. And they become video game developers. And it's just kind of about them, their love of games, I presume. And it sounds really cool. It sounds kind of contemporary, even though it's set in, I want to say, the 80s. Okay, it's actually set in the 90s. Okay, they meet in 87. I think it might be set in the 90s. I'm excited because it sounds really good. It sounds cool. I've heard great things about it. It's got the most beautiful cover. I'm excited. So then, I've got a couple of digital ones that are kind of top of my list. I've got a lot of digital books. So the main ones that I would really, really like to read are Plain Bad Heroines by Emily and Danforth, which is a murder mystery, and it's kind of dual timeline. So it's following. Is it a murder though? It's kind of a mystery. It's following the deaths of these girls. I think it's at a school, academy, something like that. It's following the deaths of these girls, and we have that timeline. But we also have modern day timeline where they're doing, I think, a film or a TV show about the occurrences. And so it's following some of the actors. And it just sounds really interesting. It kind of reminds me of a little bit, not loads, but it's a similar idea to, I don't know who else actually watched this one, but American Horror Story Roanoke, where they have a dual timeline, and one of them is like a filming crew with actors. It reminds me of that. And I actually really enjoyed that season. I know some people hated it, but I actually really liked it. So I feel like I would like this. The next one is one that I've been meaning to get to for ages. I was like so anticipating this, and then I just haven't read it. And that is Gilded by Marissa Meyer. And Meyer? Meyer? And that's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. Um, I haven't heard the best things about it, but I do love a good fairy tale retelling, so maybe I'll love it. I hope I will. But it's kind of come back onto my radar because the second one is now out and it's in my bookshop, and I wanted it because it's got these amazing sprayed edges, and I had to resist. Had to resist so much because I haven't even read the first one. I don't have the first one in physical, so I was like, no, don't get it. You don't need it. It was difficult. I'm sure you know the struggle. The last one that's kind of top of my list is The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. Now, this is also kind of a retelling. It's following the daughters of fictional scientists. So this one follows the daughter of Henry Jekyll as she's trying to find the daughter of Edward Hyde. So it's kind of a literary retelling because it also has Sherlock Holmes and Watson in it. And it's also, there's going to be other girls. I think one thing said it's monster girls solving mysteries. Sounds great. Sounds great. And I know for a fact that Leanne from Literary Diversions really enjoyed that book, and I trust her judgment. I feel like I'm gonna love it. Actually, I should just say most of these are going to be fantasy because I'm mostly a fantasy reader. But if I feel like not a fantasy, if I just fancy something else, then I sure as hell will pick up something else. I very much want to read an Andy Weir book. I very much want to read a T. Kingfisher book. So yeah, these are all totally up in the air because I just want a mood read. Okay. Last but not least, are the Libby books that I have. So these are books from my library. I have two on hold. I think one of them's going to come in during December, so I will probably try to read that, and it's not very long. And that book is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. Let's say this name by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Hopefully that was okay. If you haven't heard about this, where have you been? Because it's been everywhere. So this book is about time travel, essentially. People go to this cafe, it's set in a particular spot, and they get their coffee, and they have to return before the coffee gets cold. So they can visit someone, essentially, in the past and time travel. I've heard good things. I've heard it's quite cute, and I do like a literary fiction sometimes, so I think that would work quite well. The next one that I have on hold that I don't think is going to be in December. I'd like it to be though. We'll see. But that is Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes, and that's a Medusa retelling. And yeah, that's kind of all I've got for you. It's a Medusa retelling. I've heard good things again, and I think I'm going to enjoy it because it's a feminist Medusa retelling. What's not to love? The last one is one that I've just been eyeing up on there for so long. I've just been looking at it and thinking, this sounds completely up my street. So, that book is The Grimrose Girls by Laura Poll, and it's a dark academia kind of murder mystery. And it's got reimagined fairy tale heroes. Heroines. Not hero. Well, still heroes, but women. So I'm kind of excited. It's definitely set at a school again, dark academia, and one of their friend group, I think, has been murdered or gone missing. One of them. And there's also a new girl at school who's going to join their friend group. And that's all I know about it. That's all I want to know about it. Because I think the less I know about it, the better, so that I don't get spoiled for anything. So yeah, we've got a lot of fantasy, we've got a lot of, actually quite a bit of murder mystery kind of things going on there. And also some fairy tales mythology. So I'm just excited. I have so many books to get to that I want to read, and I can have my pick of any of them. So let me know if you've read any of these books and enjoyed them or hated them. Just let me know what you think. Are you excited to read any of them at all? Yeah, let me know if you want to read any of these. And if you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Oh, I jingled. This thing jingles.